This is This Week in Perspective with me, Adam Simbeye. On the 8th of March, every year, the world, including Tanzania, marked International Women's Day 2018 with a theme, Press for Process to Help Accelerate Gender Parity. However, our focus for this discussion today will try and discuss the question or the issue of the role of, if any, of women in Tanzania in the industrialization agenda. And I think this is a part of the theme at national level. It was also part of the theme last year. So to discuss this very important topic with me today are, on my right, for the first time, Mama Dina Bima. She's an entrepreneurship, more an industrialist, but she was chairman or president of Tanzania Women Chamber of Commerce, but she's still serving on the chamber in her capacity as a senior member. Next is Dr. Blandina Kilama, not stranger, but she's an economist, but also a researcher in economic issues from REPOA. Next on my left is Gemma Akrimali, again a regular participant on the program. I always refer to her to being a gender activist, but she's a teacher by profession, typical old teachers. Next is a beautiful young girl on my left, lady, all right. Rehema Mbugi, representing Tanzania Private Sector Foundation, because she heads the gender cluster at Tanzania Private Sector Foundation. My dear ladies, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, you can see how happy I am because when you have four ladies participating on this program, you feel elated, you feel happy and comfortable, because it's not easy to get gender balance throughout my programs, and always complain. Today, you hear no more complaint that the gender balance is not balanced, because they're all four women, but there's one man. So I break the jinx of the gender imbalance. And it's a special day for me, as I told the ladies before. This is the day when my wife and I celebrate our wedding anniversaries. Today is the same day, 49 years of
Wow! Congratulations!
Wedding anniversary. We have really aged in marriage. So let's get cracking on the International Day, Women's Day 2018. I'll start with Dr. Kilama, then go around. You'll all answer the same question, which I'm sure you know about it. What does International Women's Day mean, and what is its significance to women? Dr. Kilama?
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be here again. And I think the question will be, why is it only one day? Why wouldn't it be like the entire year? Okay, what are the rest 364 days for? But then that's not the essence. In a way, it's nice that we have a day whereby we reflect on the other 51, in most cases, % of the population in the world. Now the question is, when we're talking about women, if they are 51%, you just said today is a record you have for women, which rarely happens in your own show. You would want, if this week you have 4 women, and let's say next week you have 4 men, the other week you should also have 4 women, and it should be like that all throughout the program.
I wish
but
it
rarely
as
happens.
as you say.
Yeah. So we are celebrating, and it's not really a celebration. It's pretty much noting as to how far are we able to reduce the gap that we have between men and women. It is a day we congratulate or we actually pay respect to all women and men who are fighting to make sure the women of all ages are lifted up and they're at par. As I started with the first statistic that if we are about 50%, we should be expecting to occupy and do a lot of things at the same level. And what do I mean? Okay, I come from the research background. So if we speak about getting education, it should be the same. Access to health, it should be the same. And here I'm not just talking about a woman showing up to access the health service, but rather people who are providing the service should also have both men and women, or should have an understanding as to how a woman operates. If you come to business, I've started with health, let's move to business, it should be the same thing. It should not be...
And we're lucky we have a business.
Yes, we do have a business person.
Should help us
definitely.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah, we should have women being able to access all the different services provided by businesses. And when we're speaking of businesses here, not only are we talking about women as consumers, no. We're talking about them as producers. And not only are we talking about them as producers, but we're talking about them as the women who can produce at the standard that is acceptable worldwide. When we talk about women, do we think about only working with them informally? Because somehow we have the biggest task of most women is taking care of everybody else in the family. Do women get punished because they take care of everyone else in the family? From the food, from rearing kids, and I'm sure that Ajema and everybody else will discuss more around that. But today we are recognizing that it's very important for the women who are working to support the development of the country. They also get support when they want to engage in businesses. So if we have, let's say, a man and a woman, and then they're both qualified, and we have a post, what are the things do we ask ourselves? And today is one of the day that we ask ourselves. Do we look at Rehema and we say, oh, young lady? Or do we go look at Rehema and go like, you know what, you're qualified, let's go. We don't even talk about our age. We simply said she's qualified. And today we are recognizing that. We're not focusing on the age. All we are saying is, we need to. It has been far too long we've been having this difference between men and women, and it's important when we want to talk about women, let's not go and start more focusing on the care bits, and we go like, you know what, it's not for a woman. What is for a woman?
It's not a woman's world.
It's not a woman's world, do you understand? Like even today, like the fact you recognize, oh, I have 4 ladies. We're like, yeah, apparently we're talking about women. We should be saying women, you know. So it's that kind of conversation that today is one of those days. If we can ask every man, and we're happy to have you, Adam, like every man, look into a woman and you say, you know what? I think, in a way, I have been not doing enough to reduce this gap. From now onwards, when I wake up in the morning, if I am going to ask you to do da-da-da-da, because you're my girl, so I'm going to ask my son to do the same thing. Because what you find is, and I'm sure as we continue in discussion, you're going to realize is, the more we're trying to reduce the gap, some other people don't know we're trying to do that. It's only the women who are recognizing, tell you what, there is this movement that is going on and we're trying to progress. But the other...
There are few men out there.
Few.
Yeah, I wish they were
that's,
all
men. Yeah, but that's the thing. So what we're saying is, today is that day whereby not only are we recognizing that there have been effort in trying to reduce this gap, but it's also a day where we also agree to talk on some of the not so comfortable things that we come along, and in most cases they're treated as norm, while they're not norm. And I will finish up my point, and then I hand it over to the next person by saying, just because culturally, as a woman, we care for our households, it should also be recognized. By that itself, we spend a lot of time doing that. It means if I show up at work, I should never, but this is what we're doing in Tanzania, and I think worldwide, being wanted to work 8 hours. So for instance, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of women work in the informal sector. It's not really they're working in the informal sector by choice, but it's because they have less time. Like, no, I need 4 hours at work. But guess what? What happens once I work 4 hours? So first, I'm termed informal, and then I'm sure Rehema and they're going to capture more. When I'm termed informal, what does it mean? I won't get access to the social security in as much as I put my 4 hours in, because you only recognize if you put in the 40 hours in a week is when you will be in any of the social security. So I'm out. That's the first bit. Worse, it means I will not even get promotion. So if I don't get promotion, even my income is not going to go up. I'm just going to be stuck there. So it's going to be alternative. If I am already in this box where I'm put in, and every system that is surrounding me is putting me there, and if I show up and I'm qualified, the next thing will be like, but you are a young lady. No, I'm qualified. Just give me the opportunity. I'll show you how I do it. Because otherwise, if I have 4 hours, I will always be at the bottom, and I'll start with that.
Thank you
today.
very much. Before I call maybe for Gemma, you have really helped us a great deal. I'm interested in the point where you raise a question of women working so hard in the household, taking care of the family, the children, including the husbands.
Yeah.
Cooking, sweeping. Of course, these days we have maids or workers, but at the end of the day, it's the woman, the wife, who works very hard. As an economist, is it feasible to try and quantify the work that a woman does in the house in monetary terms? And then somehow, either the system or the family ties should understand that her work from morning 5 o'clock to 10, 11, 12 at night is worth so much, and she should be paid if she's not employed. Do you think that's feasible?
I think that's an interesting perspective, and I will put it back. When we speak about women, as I said, a lot of times we will go to the soft side, okay? We care for the family with love. And if we get an asante, we're very happy, like, whoa, at least they're appreciating. So that will be the first thing, like, first, start appreciating what I'm doing. That's one. But then second, if I get 2 hours, 4 hours, because I'm caring for the household, the entire national system and maybe the worldwide system should understand that. And I go back to the social security bits. I say, recognize, even when I put less hours, my hours, the hours you're counting are the ones I show up working for somebody else. When I work for my family, you're not recognizing that. We have very few men who do that, okay? And then you let the woman does the most of the burden. But then I think even before we start calculating this and knowing already, because if I say I'm working in the house for 8 hours, then it's going to be a discussion, and I'm sure the others will join in a different way. It's not about the money, or it's not about how you feel, but it's how you're appreciated when you do it. And then at the end of the day, how that appreciation is put through you. I'm doing it with love. Do you recognize that I'm doing it? Or it's like, no, this is your work. Kawaida. This is the norm. No, hey, everybody's expecting you to do it. So in such a way, when I don't do it, what does it mean? Does the house fall? If a house falls, it's because that woman is not strong. I'm a superwoman. No. Yeah, so it will be interesting to be able to do that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kilama. Gemma.
Yes.
You heard it, Dr. Kalama.
I've
I
heard
know
that.
you are enjoying, you're shaking your head. Let's hear your point of view on
She
this.
really impressed me because I think she has talked a lot on issues. First of all, let us discuss, or let us bring back, why are we celebrating the 8th of March? I'm not very sure how it started to be 8th of March, but let's say that we have a day in a year when we are celebrating or when we are observing this Women's Day. We are saying women have come from a process of, or a struggle of marginalization, and there has been a process of emancipation of women. And what we are doing right now is to take stock. Where are we? Are we moving? Or are we still stagnant at the point where we were?
Oh, you are being prevented from
Or we are,
moving.
it's not really prevented as such, but there are backlashes.
Oh, you're not giving the
As she was
opportunity.
talking, I could see that you are raising some of the issues. Those are backlashes. Those are backlashes. And the backlashes is really to prevent the progress of the woman, the process which she has started to move. And I think we are looking at women as one of the groups. She said it, that we are more than 51%. See this population of 51%, which is put aside from the development. How much would it be if you are included? They are included. There would be a much. We would say that the development level would be higher than we are now. There are a lot which women do, and as she said, women are talented. They are talented to do a lot of work within the same hour. She will do this, that. If we were to calculate the amount of the work in terms of monetary terms, I think the women would hold a lot of resources in their hands. But that is what she said. This is not even calculated, and this is not even recognized. And I think what we are saying is that we are putting to the world that you are leaving out elements of development. Contribution by women is contribution to the development. And the contribution by women from the household level is contribution to the development of a family. And from the family you move to the community, and from the community you move to the nation. Imagine how much are you losing out of the calculations if you were to include all this. And women are not even questioning to say, give us the money or calculate it. They are saying, what do you do? Is a thank you. She said, yeah, we need to be appreciated. What is the appreciation to this group of people who are doing a lot to the development? It's not calculated, it's not seen even in the national revenue. And in the end of the day, when you are dividing resources, we call the women's contribution is not seen, and therefore there is no calculation which is trickled down to them. And therefore, they keep on jumping round the clock in the same way. What do we expect from this contribution? We expect the services. We don't anymore want to carry water over our head. That is what we are saying. We want water at our household. So that it is me to go out. We are talking of industrialization. And the women have been doing businesses, but in a very torturous way, because they have to look for water, look for firewood, look for what? Caring. The caring. You fail to care for a sick person in the hospital which is paying a nurse to take care of the child, of the sick person. You send this sick person home, and there is no resource which follows this sick person to the household level. The woman is to take care of it. free of charge, without resources. We are not asking much. We are saying, take that resource which was being paid to the nurse to this household. And by this means, we would have community centers to take care of the sick person so that these women go and do some other jobs and do basic works which will make them grow in the industrial area, in the industrial sector and so forth. Bring the water here so that, and water is health, water is life.
Water is life, yes.
Water is life and water is health. Once you have water there, then even the diseases would go out. I would not really bother about the people getting sick so much because services is there. Okay, bring the, what we say, energy. How much is the woman suffering up to now? And then you call us like we are witch people because we are using firewood every time. Our eyes are ready. The women at the local level are suffering a lot. And yet, without appreciating, we say, these people are sick, these people are witch, and so forth. How much resources is going to relieve them from this region? So what are we doing today? Today we are just observing to say, from the process, from where we are coming, the cultural norms which have brought us to this point, the development norms which are merging with us, are we there? Are we moving? Or are we still inclined to the cultural norms?
Or you're moving but very slowly.
Or we are moving very slow with the backlashes following us and so forth and so forth. And then we need to say we are celebrating also because the pace which we are is very different from the pace which we had started. And therefore, if you look at historical background, you say, oh, now we are far. Even the voice is power. We had no voice. Who was speaking in front of people like this? You would say, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Do you know our norms? You can't stand in front of the people and talk. I am a teacher, but I couldn't talk in front of the people. Imagine, I am a teacher teaching these big boys, but then back at the decision making, I'm not there. Second, which is very strong, when we look at the why we are celebrating, we are trying to fight against patriarchy. And the patriarchy means owning resources, owning power. And that is where we want to beat. If we continue with this patriarchy, which is now moving to the women also, because of what they had been experiencing throughout their lives, once they get the opportunity, they jump also into the patriarchy system. Because patriarchy is not a man issue, it's a system. It's a system which makes one to own power, to own resources, to own decision making, and to control. Not owning only, but also controlling. You control even the decision of a person. Now, it is very dangerous if you bring these women who have been marginalized all this time, patriarchy has been playing around them, and then themselves also turning to patriarchy. It is not going to be the right position. So that is where we are saying, let's say one day, we look at it, we evaluate ourselves, where are we, and then we celebrate for the achievement which we have made, Gemma, at least.
I hear a lot of cliches, but this one is interesting and pertinent at this point in time, where it is said that the enemy of a woman is a woman.
Well, what I always tell women is that is not your voice. That is the voice of the men. That is the voice of the men who put that in the women's brain, women's head, and then they are like saying, how can you choose this? You know, this one is the one who is taking your wife, or the wife of that has been taken by that man. Or do you know that these are the issues which are put into women's head? And the women, unfortunately, because of being brought up in that culture, they believe that, yes, what we are being told of that woman is this, and she's like this, she's like this. Who says that women don't love each other? If they don't love each other, how do they celebrate in weddings?
In fact,
in
I can see that love here.
In funerals, in weddings, in church. Look at it. I'm telling you, some of the churches which didn't allow women to appear in any activities, now they are using them. You see, they are very active nowadays. One of it is my own church, the Catholic Church. See how Wawata is working. It's now very active. We have got numerous activities and so forth.
In my own church,
yes,
we have women priests, and they're doing very well.
You have that opportunity. We are not claiming to have that. For that, I have a demarcation, because that now goes towards belief, and I believe why it is not like that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying just other responsibilities. Other responsibilities. See how the church is now very active, and even the priests feel that, oh, we were leaving these women aside. They are now waking. What I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of issues which women support each other, but the voices of men, which sometimes are very conspicuous, but sometimes are underground, which pull us behind. And that is what makes you feel that women don't love
Thank you,
each
Jem.
other.
Thank you, Jem. Again, a very powerful presentation following Dr. Kilama's. I've got a few statements a few selected statements to support some of the points and issues that are basic and fundamental on International Women's Day. In relation to what you just said, Zema, let me read what Bill and Melinda and Bill Gates, the world famous and they're supporting Tanzania very well, said through their Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation. When money flows into the hands of women, everything changes.
Exactly.
That's in the daily news. And then there's another one which again is pertinent to what you've just said, by the UN resident coordinator in Tanzania, who is UNDP res rep. He says, leaving women behind would be a big mistake. Of course, if you read that story in The Guardian of 8th March, you get to know what exactly he's saying. Leaving women behind will be a big mistake. I think it's a big mistake. All right, so we go on now. Can I hear it from Dina? I know this is the first time you're participating, but you have seen the trend of discussion, and many of the issues raised by Dr. Kilama and Gemma do touch exactly, not even in periphery, but exactly in what you do as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. I think you've just said it.
And well.
Yeah. When you don't have money, you can't do anything. So I should just make it very simple that income equality is equal to gender equality.
Okay, let's hear this. Viewers, you heard this. It's very powerful. Income equality equals gender equality.
So it doesn't matter how loud we can shout and how many days we can walk on these streets. If you don't have money in your hand, you just said it, if money doesn't flow in the women's hands, then there'll be no equality. And the other thing that I want to echo there is when you make women have the chance to make decisions as far as money is concerned, the nation will change because it starts with the family. The family will change, the food will be better, your shirts will be, yes. I'm sure that might be a celebration of your anniversary today. Yeah. So everything will change, the furniture, because the person who manages the home, as she said, is the woman. And that is why, as entrepreneurs, we have discovered that as much as we can shout about gender equality, we need to start getting that money in our hands. And us as Tanzanian Chambers of Commerce, we have recognized that at home, we already have factories. My kitchen is a factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how to do the chapatis, the vitumbuas, the everything. So if we have to build a big place where we have to do chapatis, it's women who are doing it. So the factories are already there.
Yeah.
I have a big, we call it the laundromat or something like that, a big machine. But we have been doing laundry. So if I want to open a big laundry somewhere, I can do it as a business because I know exactly how to make your collars clean and your all the cufflinks and everything. So the women, we just want to harness what they have already and go a next step. So those cottage industries that were informal, I put it in inverted commas, the cottage industries in our kitchens, now we have to formalize them and make it to a well organized production center. And we have to get all those things which are needed, the HACCPs we are told about, the HACCPs, the critical points and all these things, so that that industry which is in my kitchen can move in a more organized. Maybe I can reduce the size of my garden and make a place where I have the materials, the raw materials coming in, the processing, the packing, and the bathroom for my workers.
From your home?
Yes, that is allowed. But you have to separate it from your kitchen. So what we're doing now is, we know that Tanzania is want to industrialize the system. Without the women, how are you going to industrialize? We are the experts. So we are linking up with TBS, TFDA, GS1, and the weight and measures. They come for breakfast meetings and they train our women, including the tax authorities. That what we have there now, you move from that stage, move from your kitchen, put a little thing out there, and then go to TBS, tell them to come and inspect.
Is it easy though, Dina?
It's not
to
that
move the
easy.
kitchen out, or even within your compound?
It's not that easy, but being under the associations now, we have one voice.
Yes.
That's why, like today, we called our women. Some are in Serena, some are in Kempinski, some are out there, so that they can listen, they can hear what others are doing. So when you're seated there, you say, oh, so the vitumbuas that I know that I can make, I can actually go sell them at the airport there. Instead of selling them at 100 shillings, I'll go sell them at the airport at 6,000 shillings per piece.
You have done a study and see the comparative prices?
Yes, because my association can do that. Now we can have all these researches that are done by researchers. Now we tell them, please, we need a research in this area, in that area, in that area. Our one of our associations, which is also linked to Tanzania Women Chambers of Commerce, is called TAFOPA, Tanzania Food Processing Association. Our government has tried a lot to make sure that the women now are properly trained by SIDO. So we have like more than 20,000. I was trying to get the latest data as I was working in, but I know it's more than 20,000 women that have been trained by SIDO. That instead of putting so much in the preparation that you're making your mango pico, it needs to be done this way, that way, so that it can have a longer shelf life. So those industries that are already made, we have gone to that stage now. They have been trained. Now, where do they produce? Some people don't have a big compound. So TAFOPA has already started a project with TIMEA, with Tanzania, with Trademark East Africa, to make sure that we have industrial parks. So they'll start with Bagamoyo and some regions that have
specifically for women? Or just
we'll
general?
start with us because we're experts. Yeah. So once you can't produce at your home because TBS needs that. So if we have an industrial park, then X number of ladies can occupy this section here. Maybe they're the vitumbuas or the ones who are producing mango pico, dressmakers, whatever. At least they'll have a place where when TBS, TFDA, all these organizations come, they find them in a place where they can certify them easily. As you said, it's difficult to be certified because when they come to my home, they say, this bathroom is not fitting to be, and that cup that you are using for measuring is not the right cup. So we can have one place that we can have the incubators, industrial parks.
Yeah.
And
Let me go very quickly from your very interesting point, moving or using your kitchen as an industrial, as a mini production unit, as it were, if I get you right. Now, the famous Mama Ntilie women, And they cook very good food, I must admit that.
They do.
I mean, it's a very tasty food. But, which means they have actually not moved, literally and physically moved their kitchen, but they moved the idea from their own kitchen to outside, and they're serving a lot of people. Are these people recognized?
They might not be, because you have picked that. Now you are the chefs. When there's a big wedding, it's not the mama until years again. The men now are the ones owning this. Yeah. So that's why we really want to put them together. Like the mama, it's not Mama Ntilie, we call them Mama Lishe.
Mama Lishe, yes.
Yes. The Mama Lishes now, we need to organize them. So we're actually trying to get them in a group. I don't know if they have the association already, but as Tanzania Women Chambers of Commerce, we want to know these women who are producing and they're feeding these men who become very strong and build these high-rise buildings. Is these women who are cooking? So can we put them together so that they can be given some gadgets that can produce that food in more hygienic manner? Maybe they need a table, they need a rice cooker. If you come to our WhatsApp group, we're selling each other rice cookers, multi-cookers, because of what she said. Instead of staying in doing the charcoal and the eyes are red, we tell our young people, our ladies, hey, come on, the rice cooker is just that much. You sell
And
this
still
and get a
maintain
rice
the
cooker.
taste?
Yes, we do. Yeah. You see now, you're talking about the woman has to go and angika the mka on top of the rice so that it can be well. But she's getting late to her work. So we are trying to make sure that there's rice cookers, there's washing machines, there's things that can make life a bit easier, so that these people can produce. So the Mama Lishes will reach them and try to organize them so that they can even be trained by SIDO and by other experts how to produce that food in a better way, but is using very short time, because they use a lot of time preparing them. They're carrying the buckets on their heads. I mean, we need to organize so that it can be better.
Okay, but they're making a contribution.
A big contribution.
Thank you very much, Dina. Considering that you're participating for the first time, I'm very impressed. And there's a lot of ideas coming out of you. Now, Rehema, I'm sorry I left you last, but not deliberately or not by design.
Okay.
But I want to give you another sector foundation. You heard Bina. The first time we spoke, I was saying you just remove B, I, you remove A, it will be Dr. Bana. What's the position of the Tanzania Private Sector Foundation on a day like today? I mean, surely, as they said, the women are taking stock of where they come from, where they are today, and where they're likely to be. And since we are focusing on the industrialization agenda of this country, you have some very interesting discussion or points from Bina. What's your take on this?
First, it was very interesting to hear all the ideas around why we are celebrating today.
Yes.
And I'll join the ladies by saying we are marking the climax of appreciating the efforts women have been engaged in, and I would focus on economic activities as well. And we are saying we are recognizing, we are appreciating, we are recognizing, and we are also encouraging.
Sorry, I forgot. My apologies.
Yes.
She's by background an economist.
Okay, so we are saying we are appreciating, we are recognizing, we are also using a day like today to raise awareness to young ladies, you know, because now, as I think it is trending in the social media, radios and other media platforms, recognizing women achievers, women champions. So by young ladies being exposed to such an environment where they can see a self-reflection of same gender being recognized, being appreciated today, it is also an encouragement to young ladies. For organizations like TPSF, today we are joining hands with other stakeholders. This includes both government, non-state actors, and the women themselves. And in fact, today we just had a big celebration at the office. Yes, with men included. We had a big cake saying Happy Women's Day. Everyone was included, like from the guards to the cleaners. Everybody was there to celebrate and have a piece of cake from the CEO.
Did you bring me a piece?
So I mean, we're joining hands to recognize, to raise awareness that we should empower women so that we can empower the whole society.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
I want to go back to Gemma. So the very fundamentals, all said, notwithstanding. Gemma, you've been in this game for a long time. Do you think the struggle for gender equality in Tanzania is really being won? If not, why?
Well, what I would say is that it depends on the percentage of winning, if we are to say won. Because what do we want to measure? By what percentage?
For example, the number in the leadership position, the 50-50 parity, the legislature.
The process is very difficult, I know, because as you see, we are not moving together. There is no real commitment to gender equality. So it is a struggle by the women to make that happen. And that is why there is this slowness to reaching the gender equality, or at least to make an achievement. But for me, I look at the way we are now, at the status we are now, and I am proud. I am proud because wherever there has been an influence of gender, raising awareness of gender, the issue of gender equality, at any point where we have touched the base, you see a lot of improvement and you see progress. Last week, we had, not last week, I think 2 weeks ago, we had one celebration and we met at Mlimani City there. You cannot believe somebody, a woman, just a common person, because of the influence which we have created. We have this study center we call TGNP Study Center. You cannot imagine. We got a counselor, a lady, who was purely a housewife. Just like that. But she grew, knowing her rights. She rose up. And the challenges through which she went through, we couldn't believe. She had a sick child the day she had to send her name. But it was very easy for her to say, no, this is very crucial. If I miss this point, I will not get through. So can somebody take care of my child while I'm moving out to register my name? And she did. Somebody took care of the sick child in the hospital. You can just imagine a sick child. Now that motivation which is coming out of the empowerment which we have put is what we are seeing now is spot here, spot there, spot there, spot here. And then even if you come to Dar es Salaam where we are, you can find that there are some areas where they don't even know that there is this movement. So what we are saying, in taking stock of whether we are moving, we are taking stock out from the places where we have been putting our effort. And by looking at them, we say, literally, there has been a great progress. Go to Mbeya, certain areas in Mbeya.
Thank you for mentioning my...
Yes, and I will tell you some of the areas where women are running around like you cannot believe. Sometimes we even feel that, did we expect these women to wake up like this? Because now they are higher up in progress than we are. If you take me to my locality, especially members of TGNP and so forth, wherever they are staying, I don't think they have made any impact at their area like the impact which is being made by the women. We are still not there. Why? Because the issue had been big. It was a big issue. So to register the success, we cannot say we are registering the success over the whole country. We are registering the successes out of the places where we have put effort on it. And we are saying we are really moving.
Okay, Gemma.
One, you have people who are talking, but influencing the policies, influencing the budget, and even following.
Thank you. Time seems to be
very
running
limited.
very fast. I didn't
know.
expect that. But I wanted to join you to join you the question with what you've just said and say, do you think women have a right to demand for their rights? Do you have a right to demand for your rights?
Of course, it's an obvious. Yeah,
it's obvious.
It's obvious. And I think it links to what Mama Gemma just said when she shared her first intervention. The things that are inside our head and have been planted, and I'm going to use the Swahili word, anyway, taken as a kutu.
Yes.
Now, removing rust is not an easy thing. And it's not going to be removed just once. It needs consistent. We need to be persistent to make sure we are having, and I will use the word, meaningful inclusion. And I think that's what we would like to see.
Okay, meaningful inclusion. Now, Dina, I'm sorry to come back to you, because I did say that we will focus somehow on the question of the industrialization agenda of this fifth administration. Role that women should play, very quickly.
A very big role.
Okay.
A very big role, because we have to be, is it assertive, aggressive? When systems are set, especially by our government, we need to go for it. And that's why we have movements like this, organizing things like this, so that we remind each other. Like there's 50-50, isn't it? So we have to remind people, go for it. Take the form, fill it up. We don't wait now for the government again to come and say, you take the form. It's us encouraging each other to do that.
You don't want to be given a receiver.
No, take the form. If you're not qualified, then study whatever it is. Is it politics that you have to study? But get prepared so that you can take that. And then we have this 30% procurement act, for example. It's there already for us. So we won't just be given the 30%. Our products have to show that. Our service, as service providers, we have to prove that we fit to be picked when there's anything that is there, so that we can go for that 30%. We have the police desks, for example. Somebody is beaten overnight, and you say, oh no, I just fell. I say, come on. You go, there's a desk there. Go and tell them that you have been battered. Because if you're
even if it is by your husband.
That desk is there because of the husbands. They're not it's a crazy man on the road. The government knows why they put that particular desk. So we need to encourage each other. You can't hear that a neighbor's daughter is crying, beaten by the husband, and just sitting there because you are 49 years in your marriage, so it's okay. No, we have to join hands so that we get rid of these things that have been planted in our heads, as they think. And I think we have a big part to play. As I said, these little industries that we have, don't get satisfied with the industry that we have at home. Get certification. Get out there. When Tanzania, there was an announcement somewhere that the Air Tanzania needs, I think, cashews or something. So I quickly sent it to my friend. But hey, get there. Why should we have cashews brought by other people and cashews are ours? So that is what we are doing now. Let us get there. And we can build these industries because we are the mothers of this nation.
Either Gemma or Blandina, how much involvement of the rural women is there in all the activities of women, some of them referred to by Dina here? Because I want to read something that the Minister for Health, Gender, is a long ministry. Minister Umi Mwalimu said as part of the International Women's Day, recognize, value rural women's contribution.
Yeah.
Now, have we not recognized?
I think that's a good question, and it's as the previous colleagues have said, and we've continued to share. What we're saying is it's not that they're not working. It's just what they're doing is not recognized.
Exactly.
Given we only have 24 hours, and they tend to use more hours in the struggle of providing care in the household. So even the other things that they do, at the end of the day, quote unquote, by the definition that recognizes a formal person who works 8 hours, unfortunately, a lot of women, rural women, will never manage to get those 8 hours. So it's not like they're not working, they are, but they're never recognized in the system that we call a formal system, which means if we want to recognize them, there is a need for a deliberate action to recognize them at all the different national systems that we have. I gave an example on the social security bits. So you can go even backwards into a lot of other things. So for instance, when she was sharing as to how it is very important that we bring in women and then they start working in the little factory and then later on they're organized. What we're also saying is that we should never work in silos, but when we speak to them and they become assertive, and the next thing Rehema will say, they need to dare, because that first step, nobody can do it. We cannot do the first step. They have to be them. Like if they hear Mama Gema speak here, Rehema speaks, or Bima speaks, they're like, oh, I heard that. I think I'm going to try. They need to try. Without trying, we will still stay there. That's one. But then two, we need to adhere to the recognized standards. And we should not stick to the standards that, let's say, if my standards here in my village or in my hamlet is acceptable, this is it. We should never aim to remain there. We should aim way much higher than that. And this goes back even when we're thinking about when becoming professional women. You know, we should not just aim equating myself to Adam or a male who is in front of me. I should aim to be way much higher than that. And then if I do that, I mean, you know what? I can do it. The problem is we're aiming for we're looking at somebody who is aiming for mediocre, and we're like, at the end of the day, we're all going to be mediocre. So for women, we have to aim way much higher. Fortunately, we can do it. Yes, we can. And with that, then we can really press for progress.
So there's something that we're doing at the chamber to sort out that.
You'll come, you take that opportunity. I have 5 minutes to finish. Now, there's the last question, which is always important. I'll start with you, Gemma. We go like this. So, all what you have said here, notwithstanding, what are, if any at all, there might be there could be no challenges. The challenges that women face and continue to face in the fight against gender equality, parity, gender-based violence, and their rights. Very quickly, Gemma.
I think
there are challenges. Still challenges.
I think there are still challenges, and the challenges is that there is not yet really receptive norms from the society. That is the major one. Still, we are still constrained by the culture, and as I say, this is the culture which brought a person from the household level to the decision making. Are the decision making makers ready to accept this? Are they really committed to that? They are not really committed to that. And that is one of the most important things. But also, if I can just link to what she said about the industry, those are the producers. And we cannot leave out the women out there. They can be the source of these products which can be processed by the others. That is how the industry link. Therefore, women are there as producers. Let them avail this information so that they can link with the producers.
They have a big role. Rehema. One, please. If you may.
One, even 2 or 3, if possible. I would say I wouldn't talk about challenge. I would talk about possible solution.
Yes.
And I would say if we integrate women into our economic activities by empowering them financially, physically, health-wise, making them to be self-aware that they're important in our communities, we can reach that far, up to the level of having that mid-level economy we are talking about. We want to move to.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll mention challenge and solution. We have challenge information, knowledge. Some women, especially in the rural areas, that don't have it, and access to affordable funds. Funds get of interest. And we have a solution for that. We have started a program with CRDB, we have a program with MEDA, that we're going to have a woman-to-woman mentorship program. So we have been picked as 25 women that are going to be professionally trained by experts. Then those women will be given 6 women under them, and it will be rolled over all over Tanzania, so that we can hold hands of those who are in the rural areas, who are below there, and just lift everybody up.
Okay. Last but not least.
Yeah, I mean, and lots of the challenges have been raised and some of the suggestions. But for me, I think, the biggest challenge that women are facing is they have to ask for permission to do nearly everything. When that one goes away, we're going to go way far. So for me,
you want this question of asking for permission to be,
Go
to
out.
be removed,
yeah.
to go away.
Yeah.
Go out.
But then it featured in what they said, but in a way you feel like that's it. If we don't have to ask for permission, I want to do this, I'm going to do it. Hey, this is what I want to do.
So, as far as we're concerned, there's no need for a wife to ask for permission for everything in the house.
Let me rephrase that. When I share information, I'm simply sharing that information. I'm not asking for permission.
Exactly.
A lot of times when women share information, ideally they're asking for permission.
Yeah.
And which is very wrong. So men, they share information. It's not like they're, hey, we'll be doing da. It's the piece of information you received. It's not like they're asking. It's like, point noted. But for women, it's the other way around.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you very much, my 4 panelists. And I did expect somehow, I'll be mistaken to say I did not expect this, but I did expect that the 4 of you will provide a very interesting discussion on the question of International Women's Day and why are we celebrating this, and why should women celebrate International Women's Day? Because it's an important occasion, and the role of women in all endeavors, include development, industrialization, health, and all these, whereas at the same time, the problems that women face are very serious, and they should be taken very seriously in order to make life comfortable, like Gemma said, in terms of water, good health, education, and all these. The issue of economy and the issue of permission, the last point from Dr. Blandina. The viewers, you men out there, you shouldn't always wait for your wives or for the women to ask for permission. It is their right. It's their legitimate right to not to seek permission from you, but as long as they want to do something, be behind them, help them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Encourage them.
Encourage them to do it.
Compliment.
I mean, the role of Tanzania Women's Chamber of Commerce, as explained by Dina Bina, is very crucial. And at this point in time, when we are going to, we have an agenda of industrializing this country. So thank you very much, my panelists. Viewers, you heard the views, powerful views from should I say women? No, because of the Women's Day, no. Powerful ladies here.
Okay.
International Women's Day 2018 is an important occasion for women as the previous years, because it provides an opportunity for women everywhere, including Tanzania, to take stock of what they have achieved today and where they're coming from in the struggle to attain gender equality, equal rights, legal empowerment for all women and girls' education, access to good health, social services, and gender-based violence. And as you heard from my panelists here, it is their right to do so. It is their right, women's right, to demand for their right and gender equality. Because the trend seems to be that they are left behind and we're not making much progress. It is also expected that women will play a major role in the industrialization agenda of this country, as we have heard from Dina Bina here, as they are already engaged in businesses and other economic activities alongside men, as you heard from Dina here. This contribution needs to be recognized and respected. We congratulate all women as you mark this important international.
Congratulations, women.
That's all we have for you today, viewers. Until next Sunday at the same time, and on Thursday at 15 hours for the repeat program, on behalf of Mama Dina Bina, Dr. Bladina Kilama, Mama Jema Kilimali, Dada Sister Rehema Mbugi, and my TBC Television Center crew. Thank you, viewers, and goodbye.